Order! In today's House Parliament meeting, we are here to discuss about the homeless people, on how can we invest into the shelters for those homeless people across the cities, across Republic States, and also across the whole nation entirely. And President Scott Drake, you start things off here, the words here in the Parliament here for this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to speak about what really needs to happen around this Christmas period, and also in general also, about tackling and stopping people from going homeless in our streets. It's been now 3 or 4 years now, the homeless is going up and up and up the scales, and we don't want that to happen. We want people to have somewhere to stay, somewhere to actually stay because of mental health issues, the weather outside, the climate, more risk of suicide, deaths, and so more. And even at Christmas especially, the best time of the year, we need to help those vulnerable people and people in low poverty as well, or maybe will be on the verge of becoming homeless in this nation. We need to help them. We need to help them right here, right now. And as I am the president, I have to make that action call here in this Parliament meeting here today, as right here, right now, I want things to change, and I think Christmas is the right time to do that, to change us, to help those homeless people and those charities, to give them the right position and help and support they definitely need. And that's what I've got to say right there, Mr. Speaker, on that matter. Thank you very much there, Scott Drake. Now we go to Drew Gulak, the opposition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to discuss about how can we help those homeless people. What's the question about what you're going to do in terms of the money you're taking out of the back pockets of most of the working class people? You might have said the right things on addressing to our Parliament, but why take more money out of the working class people and invest so much more into the homeless, as we already invested up to 1 million in terms of the charities and also our government also to help those people? But why do we have to invest and talk about it much more about this matter here in this Parliament? I know it's Christmas, I know this might be the time to discuss about helping those people, but why take the money out of people's back pockets and so much more into this cause? Thank you very much there, Mr. Gulak. Now back now to our President, Mr. Scott Drake, with your response. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to address as well on what Gulak said about us government, our party investing so much more from the working class back pockets into the homeless. It's been more people. The rates are going higher every single year. Ever since we was in war way back in 2020 against Russia, we've lost most of the jobs in terms of what our previous president did by making us go to war, and even we've lost so much since. But since we are trying to climb and make a great, better nation, I think it's the best idea to do this. I've been seeing it, hearing it, people's words telling me, when you're going to invest into homeless people, we're going to invest into the helping the people who need it the most, and especially on those vulnerable people need to be having that money as well to help them get through. And that's what I have to do as the right thing, as our current situation since the war 4 years ago. We have to change our mentality in terms of helping those people out, and that's what I'm going to do as this president here of this nation. And Drew Gulak, you might disagree with me, you might like it, but that's tough, but that's my decision right there on that matter. Thank you right there, Mr. Drake. Now to you here, Mr. Gulak. Mr. Drake, you might have said those right things right there about your decision, but have a really clear think about it for next week's next speech of the Parliament, about how you can affect those people who lose a lot of money and maybe struggle to buy presents to their children and to themselves. Have a think about those people, how to pay a lot into the system about investing into the homeless. you're making those homeless people more richer than the people who are working class, who have got work and got jobs and got a house and got a mortgage and so more. And those homeless people, the most majority of those people may have been homeless in the first place due to criminal activity, crime, drugs, prison and so more. Those are the majority of the people end up being homeless on the streets due to those problems. But the people who are vulnerable, the people that need to get out of the homeless system, those people should be likely to be saved. But at the same time, we have to drop those prices in terms of what your rule is saying right there, in terms of investment, and make it a little bit lower comparison to what you've actually proposed to the Republican people in this nation. And that is what I have to say, all I've got to say in the speech here for this afternoon. Thank you there, Mr. Drake, on that speech. But that's all we have time for here of this Parliament meeting debate. But we'll be back for next week to talk about the food banks and about the homeless leading up to this Christmas coming up in a couple of weeks from now. And now you all can be dismissed for this afternoon.